Hey, Hard, what's this?
That's my resignation letter.
You're resigning.
Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you get stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit.
I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me.
Okay, but remember, it's not what you say, it's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Welcome to this month's Salute to Service, and with me today I have Marine Corps veteran Randy Schmidt. How you doing, Randy? Shake hands.
Very good.
All right.
Very good.
Right. Randy is the president of the Medina County Veterans Service Commission, and he is also currently the president of the Medina County Veterans Coalition. So that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today, about what our office does, what the coalition does, and what veterans do around the county. How's that sound?
That sounds good.
So what is the the Medina County Veterans Coalition, in your own words?
In my own words, Medina County Veterans Coalition came to being 7-8 years ago now, and it came to being because there was a need for helping coordinate all the veteran organizations in Medina County to be able to help one another when there's a need, and also to keep information flowing around the different organizations, veteran organizations in our county, and help support one another.
So it's not there really to replace any organization. It's there more as a funnel point for all of them to come together and share what they're doing, right?
Correct. That's absolutely correct. I know there are some people who thought that we were trying to infringe on various veteran organizations in the county, trying to take over something for them. That's not the case.
So they don't do any fundraising or anything like that, do they?
No, there's no fundraising. It's mainly a passing of information back between all the organizations. They could use our help to whenever that needs to help them out with whatever. And maybe do some more coordinating between the different organizations so that they could just help one another.
Kind of let one community know that another community is having the steak dinner down at their lodge or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So do all the organizations in the county participate in it?
In more recent years, no, that's not been the case. Maybe in the initial part there was a little more of that around the county, but and that's been since I became the president this year. My main impact that I wanted to do, I wanted to get the veteran organizations, all of them in the whole county, to be coming together and working together on helping one another, so that we could just help their organizations do better, whether it's helping them participating with their fundraisers or doing other things such as getting the word out, helping get the word out to other veteran organizations that might want to be a part of things that the other organizations are doing.
I know, Medina has, we got Southern Medina with Lodi and Wadsworth down there. We got the Legion in Lodi. We got the VFW and the Legion in Wadsworth. And then you got Brunswick, kind of the northern part, where we got the American Legion and the VFW in Brunswick, and over in Valley City we got the VFW. And then we got the center, the county seat, which is Medina. And there's a huge center point there with veterans organizations, with the American Legion, the VFW, the DAV, Vietnam Veterans of America, AMVETS are all centered in Medina. So a lot of people sometimes think that, everything that, our office or the coalition does is focused on the city of Medina, but it's really not, is it?
No, it's not supposed to be, and there may have been some misconceptions to that initially, but it's my desire to really want to work with the other areas such as Wadsworth and Lodi, those veteran organizations, Valley City, It's been primarily Medina and Brunswick participating the most in this organization, and I really want to spread it out because I really believe that input from all the veterans and all the organizations will help make this Veteran Coalition a far better organization to be more helpful to all the veteran organizations in the county, not just those in Medina and perhaps Brunswick.
Well, what the trend is, numbers and memberships are decreasing, and so the more we can pool our resources together, I think it helps everybody. It helps all the communities, and it helps the veterans organizations. So what is, I know, for the last 7 years, the coalition has did originally it was I think it was called a military banquet. Now we just simply call it the Veterans and Military Ball. But what's the reasoning for that in the county?
Basically, it's to bring the veterans and veteran supporters together to have a nice evening out, have a nice meal, and there's been some issues. There've been other things that's been added to that. So, there's been a concept of honoring a Veteran of the Year. And other things. Those people who are not veterans but support veterans in one way or another, to maybe honoring somebody in that capacity. But it's to bring the veterans and their families and friends all together. And we're doing this at Williams on the Lake. And this next year, in 2019, it will be May 4th at Williams on the Lake. And I really would like to see as many veterans as possible, as well as any of the veterans' family and friends to come and join in and have a great time at this get-together. And we could talk and share various things going on. That's just another way of doing that, of communicating with one another as veterans and veteran supporters.
So I know originally when we started this, the very first one we had at the National Guard Armory, it was in the fall. And it was kind of, typically what was happening is it was the week before, the week after the Marine Corps Ball. And, so we were losing a lot because, nobody wants to go to a formal event 2 weeks in a row. And so last year we decided, we moved it to the springtime. And this year it's in May. And, I know when the decision was made by a lot of people, I think it's the right thing to do because it kind of starts the veterans, what we consider the veteran season of Armed Forces Day, Memorial Day. May kind of has all those events, and then Flag Day in June. So I think having it in the spring is nice, and it kind of opens up. But for those of you that have never been, there's a lot of vets that come together that they see people that they haven't seen in years sometimes. Some of the things we do are things that were done in the military heritage and the historic significance. But there's a lot of civilians that come too that are very interested and impressed in talking, not only just talking and socializing with veterans, but seeing what a military ball is like, and they're very interested. But it's been great. We got some entertainment. It's not a long evening either. Usually 6 o'clock. I think we're done by about 9 typically, right?
Yeah, maybe 9, maybe a bit later this year. I'm going to be sponsoring an actual band that's going to be coming and playing there. This band, I'd heard this band, back last April when the Lions Club was having their get together, the regional get together, and I was impressed with them so much so that me and another guy from the Lions Club thought it would be great to have them to come to the 75th anniversary of the Lions Club of Medina, and they did, and I think a lot of people were impressed with the way they played. They played a lot of, they played military songs. They played some country songs, and as Ron, who's the leader of the group, as he told me, they started out as a Christian band, and they were a trio, and now I think there's like 4 or 5 of them, but they still use the trio as their title of their band, and they just play good music, and there's dance music, and there's the veteran songs that are military songs that are just really, some of them are different than you usually hear, and it's nice, and I think everybody I know at that 70th, there was about 100 of us people there, and they really enjoyed them. So I think this May, everybody that comes to our military ball, they're going to enjoy that that part of the
So there's going to be some dancing then too, right?
Yes.
So, for those of you that haven't been there, there is no speeches. There's no, we don't have anybody get up there and talk for a long period of time. We usually, we do a couple raffles. We said we don't do any fundraisers in the coalition. That night is the only fundraiser really that we do, and that usually gets donated back to some veterans group in the county. The only thing we do is we eat. We give out the Veteran of the Year Award and the Advocate of the Year Award, which is, ranked. All the organizations turn in who they want to sponsor, and then that is voted on by a separate committee. Typically, the committee in the past has been like one of the county officials, maybe a judge from the county, or one of the local politicians. There's usually a couple of them that decide that. And then we give out a couple other awards for people that, help veterans throughout the year here in the county. And then we play some music and dance or do whatever. But it's not a long, drawn-out evening. The food is great. Williams on the Lake does a great job with the buffet. I know last year we had roast beef, au jus, and chicken with tomatoes on it and stuff. And go ahead.
I was just going to say no. Last year, when it was in March, we had it was St. Patrick's.
Oh, that's right, because it was St. Patrick's Day.
It was that other food was the year before.
Yeah. So last year we had the traditional St. Patrick's Day, the corned beef dinner. That's right.
And it was so good. I have had a number of people want to have that again, even though we're having it in May.
Yeah.
But this year, I think we're going to go. Actually, Phil Rassa, talked to Williams on the Lake and really came up with even a better menu. I think between the two dishes, the main dishes that we're going to have, they're a little bit more, cost-wise.
Right.
So the tickets are, instead of 30, they're 35, and we're going to have, a dessert thing, extra dessert thing where they'll have that and some hors d'oeuvre type things, and so the food's I think is going to be better this year coming up, than before. Not that the food before was bad. It just this is a little bit up on the higher scale, and I think people will enjoy the food.
So how much is it this year?
$35 a person.
So $35 a person. That still includes beer and wine, right?
Yes.
So it includes beer and wine. And I believe, soda pop and stuff like that. If you want any hard liquor, you got to pay for that.
Yes.
But for $35, you come, you do not have to be a veteran if you just want to come and share an evening with some veterans, but we'd like to get as many veterans as we can there, or active duty military, reservists, our recruiters in the county. Would like to get some of them there. Feel free to wear your uniform or, a suit with some pins on it, but whatever. And we'd like to see as many folks there. I think we can accommodate, about 250 or so?
At least, if not a little more than that.
Yeah. So about 250 tickets is what we'll have up for sale, and those will go out for sale probably the first of the year. We'll probably
they'll be getting the forms out.
Probably start selling those.
Yeah.
And that form will be available on our website as well as our Facebook page if you're interested. And I think we'll be able to screenshot that information up on the channel. So what else about the coalition that you feel is important, for the county?
Well, it's basically just being able to converse with, because if you're not, and that's why it's really important that all the veteran organizations have some representative come to the meetings whenever possible, because it gives us, everybody, an opportunity to communicate with the other organizations, where if you don't live in those areas, you may not have that information or knowledge about what's going on in that part of the county with the concerned veterans. And as I put the word out also, that especially Wadsworth and Lodi, I've asked them, I really want input from them on which organization that we could give money to, a nonprofit organization that helps veterans and veterans' families. So being able to come together and discuss about issues, it really helps everybody out. But the more participation by all the veteran organizations, the better I can do my position as the president of the organization, because I really want to make the organization grow and be more useful to all the veteran organizations in this county. When I decided to take the position on, that's what was in my mind, as I really wanted to make the organization more viable for all the veteran organizations, not just a few.
Well, I know that in the money that we do bring in from that raffle we do at the banquet, we've given it to, one year it went to the National Guard Family Readiness Group over there in Medina. We gave, I think we gave a couple checks in the past couple of years to New Bridge Place down in Lodi that has a new veterans home. and various other agencies around the county that support veterans. So all that money goes back out. I know that the coalition doesn't keep anything, but you don't have to be a veterans organization to become a member either. We got a couple that are not. I know Rolling Thunder, who is a quasi veterans group, kind of. They, everything they do supports veterans. Sometimes I say they're one of the best veterans groups we got in the county because they do so much. We have the Women of the Military from Medina County that are a part of it. We have the Hospice Medina County, the Honoring Veterans program that is part of the coalition. So it's not just your traditional American Legion, VFW, DAV that are groups. We have other interested members that come to the coalition meeting that do things on behalf of veterans or want to help support veterans. And I think that's important because there are so many people out there and agencies that just want to purely assist and help veterans and do some good around the county.
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about what you do with our office as far as, so you're president of the commission. How long, and for our viewers out there, the Medina County Veterans Coalition is a nonprofit organization. The Medina County Veterans Service Commission is a government organization which runs my office. And Randy is the president. Now, how long have you been on the board there?
I'm finishing up my 18th year.
Okay, 18th year. So you got quite a bit of experience over time on how the office and how veterans benefits in general have changed. What have you seen from when you start doing this to where you're at today?
Well, the efficiency of the office is far better now. It's the process. It's the people. We have a few more people working, doing things in our office to help veterans. And I think the technology is also, because we got to the computer now, whereas before everything was paperwork, and it took longer to get things set up. If every time for our meeting that we'd have once a month, the staff would have to work all this time with all this paperwork spread out all over the table, and the office is just more efficient. They're able to see more veterans, and help more veterans, throughout the whole course of the month. And
yeah, I tell you that the numbers of veterans that we see, the past few years has been almost 4,000 veterans or families a year, and just an incredible rate of increase. And there's a lot that has to do with that. The advertising that the VA does, the knowledge of social media and the benefits available out there, not just to newer veterans who are being told about their benefits when they get out of the service, but all the advertisement and marketing that's out there for older veterans to learn about benefits that they had no idea that they were eligible for. So people are starting to ask when they come in. But technology has changed a lot, not just in our office, but how the VA does business too. Things develop a lot quicker and everything else. And it's actually pleasing from the time I started doing this 10 years ago. I remember when, if you had questions, you were on the phone all day long trying to get answers. And now it's at the stroke of a keystroke on your computer. And I know, Randy, you wanted to talk a little bit about the differences between us and the VA and some other groups.
Well, I just wanted to mention, because I still get people referring to our office as the VA, and I have to let them know at the time that no, we're not a VA, we're not the VA. We are Medina County Veterans Service Office, which is part of the county workforce, and paid by the county of Medina. And so we do interact with the VA, but we are not part of the VA. We help the veterans that need to be connected to the VA in a variety of levels, and we intercede on their behalf so that when they get frustrated and have trouble connecting to where they need to connect with the VA, our office can help them do that.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up because when I was in the Army, and I was sent out to a remote area where there were no Army people. There was like 6 of us in this small town, and the nearest Army base was about 3 hours away. And somebody told me when I got there, they said, "Well, you are the Army in this community," because we were the only ones there. So everybody viewed us as the Army. And when you're 6 soldiers in a very small community, you might as well be a division in a large community, because people come to you for everything, that any question to do with the military. And I've kind of come to, our office is not the VA, but in Medina County, we kind of are, because people come to us and want to ask questions about everything. And that's what we're there for, is we are the conduit between the Department of Veterans Affairs and the veteran. But we don't make those decisions. We just help people get those decisions. But for the face of the VA, and we've been telling the VA this for quite some time. If you want help in the community, we're the folks out there. We know the veterans. We know where they're at. But you're right. We are not a VA office. We are a county office, and the county pays us. So, with that said, anything you want to add to about veterans and what's going on around the county and how you feel that Medina County is operating with the veterans in the county and the different organizations?
Well, I want to give a little bit of a shout out to the county commissioners. In January, they're having their annual gathering there, and each of
county commissioners' ball, it's called.
Yeah, county commissioners' ball, and between the three commissioners, they each can nominate one or two different organizations that the extra money that is collected through this ball, through the people participating, other donors that give money toward this event. And they each have one or two different organizations that they give that money to, and this year, as far as veterans are concerned, I know the Disabled American Veterans is going to be receiving some funds from one of the county commissioners, as we were nominated for that to receive those funds, and so I just want to thank the county commissioners for what they do, and thank them for the times that they do acknowledge veteran organizations or organizations that actually helps do things for veterans.
And I think their donation this year is going to the Disabled American Veterans in Medina County. It's true that the partnerships that our office and the big VA and any other organization that works with the veterans has with nonprofits, the government entities, and local private businesses, private and public businesses out there that support veterans. There's just things that the government can't, no matter how much money the government throws at things, there are things that because of laws and rules and regulations just can't do. But private organizations and nonprofit organizations and other businesses that donate money, they can do things that we can't do and that the big federal government can't do. So it's a great partnership to have people support the veterans organizations in Medina County and the things that they do, because there are people hurting in Medina County. Everybody thinks Medina County is, and it is a lovely place to live. I always say this every day I get up. It is a great place to be a veteran, but there are people in need that are hurting that, the government just can't help them. But these other organizations can, and so we appreciate those donations out to support people like the Disabled American Veterans and things. And the county commissioners have been in Medina County have been very supportive of our commission and our office, as well as all the veterans groups, and we appreciate that. Anything you want to add? Last, I know I forgot to mention Randy is a Vietnam veteran. And a proud member of the United States Marine Corps still. You guys never seem to get discharged. You're always a Marine, once a Marine, always a Marine, right?
That's correct. I had to correct somebody at the Lions Club the other day when he referred to us as an ex-Marine.
An ex-Marine?
Yeah.
I think only ex-Marine is one that's maybe dishonorably discharged, right?
That's the only one that would be an ex-Marine.
Yeah. So in closing, I just want to say, thanks to everybody out there that supports us through the holidays. We had a tremendous amount of support from people around the county in supporting our veterans. I will say that, the holidays, there is this abundance of donations, and there's an abundance of need too. But don't forget about our veterans and even non-veterans out there that are in need the rest of the year, because there seems to be this, once we get into like February, March, April, May, there's this dry period when people are still in need and the donations aren't coming in because it's after the holidays. So I even tell a couple of groups sometimes hold those donations until maybe May or June, because that's really when folks are in need. It's hard to, it seems like the giving pool's dried up about then sometimes. Yeah. But I do want to thank everybody. Tank the Truck was a huge success this year. We gave out meals this year to veterans that were in need, and that was a huge success. And we're looking forward to helping out and doing that again next year with the help of our local veterans organizations. Anything you want to say in closing, Randy?
I just want to thank everybody that does help out all the veteran organizations. It is a wonderful place to live in this area. I think the state of Ohio in general, but this particular area that, coming from California to here, I've noticed a big difference in people being responsive to the veterans in their communities. Everything from thanking you for your service to participating greatly in such events that I'm involved with and love so much, and that is the Toys for Tots program that we, as a Marine Corps League, that we participate. The people in this county are just over generous in helping us make that such a successful program for those children in our county that wouldn't have the kind of Christmas that they are going to have because of their generous donations to us.
Right. So with that, in closing, I do want to remind everybody the National Veterans Museum and Memorial opened last November in Columbus, Ohio. The state of Ohio is very honored to have that. I recommend anybody that can get down there to go down there and see it. It's a beautiful building. It is a great memorial and a great museum. We're hoping maybe further on in the year, maybe the Veterans Coalition is looking at planning a field trip down there to take some veterans down there to have lunch and see the museum, maybe a couple bus rides. And so stay tuned to our website, our Facebook page. If the coalition decides to do that, we'll obviously be publicizing it. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in this month, and have a good 2019. And like I said, Medina County, great place to be a veteran. Randy, I want to thank you for coming on the show. And
thank you very much.
We'll see you. Have a good day. We'll see you next month.
They'll test you, try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Hi, I'm Ed Zachary, Director and Service Officer for the Medina County Veterans Service Office. If you're a veteran or a widow of a veteran and you need assistance in filing a claim with the Department of Veterans Affairs, give us a call, 1-844-722-3800. That's 1-844-722-3800.